भूयपकृच्च कौरव्यो sorry वासुदेवा कथादृतः न्यूनल्स् येषुकावाच संयावाको मे पुण्यतमामृतः भूयपकृच्च कौरव्यो वासुदेवा कथादृतः श्रीशुक उवाच Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Nishamya, after hearing Vacham talks Vadataha while speaking, Mune of Maitreya Muni, Punyatamam, the most virtuous, Nripaha, O king, Bhuya, then again Papricha inquired, Kauravya, the best among the Kurus, Vidura, Vasudeva Katha, topics on the subject of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Adritaha, one who so adores. Translation: Srila Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, after hearing all these most virtuous topics from the sage Maitreya, Vidura inquired further on the topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he adored to hear. Purport: the word Adrita is significant because it indicates that Vidura had a natural inclination for hearing the transcendental message of the personality of Godhead, and he was never fully satisfied, though continuing to hear those topics. He wanted to hear more and more so that he could be more and more blessed by the transcendental message. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यामनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, it's a great fortune to be here at the abode of Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra here in Singapore. And my gratitude to all the devotees who have come early morning for the Bhagavatam class. Sunday, usually Sunday is rest day, but for devotees it is no Shravanam day, more hearing, more chanting. And what better to discuss and meditate upon than the beautiful Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam means the most beautiful, and Krishna's pastimes are the most wonderful, beautiful narrations that we can hear. And here in Vidura, as you can see, is being called as the best of the Kauravas because everyone else is fighting a battle in Kurukshetra. But he, instead of getting into this battle, because Vidura tried to convince that this is not proper to go into a battle. But Duryodhana, the more he was trying to give him wisdom, the more Duryodhana was getting angry. By the way, you may be knowing that Vidura is Yamaraj himself, who was cursed by a sage to become a son of a Shudra. And that is the external story. But the internal story of why Yamaraj became Vidura is that Yamaraj has the most toughest job to do in the world. To snatch people suddenly out of their empire, out of their situation, and then punish them and put them into a totally different situation. And he knows the purpose for which he has to do that is that the conditioned soul doesn't get no fixed in some little corner of this world thinking that यही मेरा सब कुछ है, not understanding that हमारा सब कुछ, our everything is actually Krishna. Until we find Krishna, we can't be fully happy in this world, just like a fish that is out of water. And imagine, no, somebody who is on the street grabbing something stale and eating, and you have just come out of a restaurant. What's the equivalent of Govindas here? Yesterday some devotee was saying. Swad. Some devotee runs, right? So Swad. So you were coming out of Swad on Friday evening when there was program here. There was samosa, there was jalebi, and again devotees were asking me, Prabhuji, Prasad lenge ka? But it was late, almost like 9:30. So I wanted to take, but I couldn't. To say you had a very wonderful one of the some of the best cuisine, and then you come out and then you see one of your friend's child. No, he's trying to fight with the dogs and grab some stale food. You'll feel sorry that he कैसा जीवन बिता रहा है and what type of things he is eating because he knows no who he was. Same way sadhu or a guru or Krishna, when they see our condition, say ये क्या था और क्या हो गया. Recently, in our Chopati temple, Sarvabhauma Prabhu had come. Any of you know Sarvabhauma Prabhu? Very stout, fat, but wonderful speaker. Amazing speaker. He used to give this Star plus Atma serial. Many of you, even myself, first one of our first glimpses of Krishna consciousness movement was through these talks by Gauranga Prabhu, Sarvabhauma Prabhu. So when he was in Udaipur, one of our brahmacharis, his name is Rasik Raman Prabhu, and he is a very lukda sukda, very thin. I don't see anyone here that thin, the way he is. So when he used to come for the program, Sarvabhauma used to give the talk, and looking at his, totally thin structure, he said that we should make a ad in the newspaper. आओ ऐसे जाओ ऐसे. Come into ISKCON, thin and lean, and then go from ISKCON, stout and strong. Of course, now many of you may want to have that thin, lean structure, but not that thin that हवा के झोंका से आप उड़ जाएंगे. So when we can see अरे, how much can he relish life, but because of his compromised situation, he's suffering like this, you feel pity and you want to help that person. So Yamaraj is given that job to, if somebody has become comfortable, मेरा तो यही garbage का पास I'll be eating or thing or some railway station to take us that from situation and try to with some harsh punishment make us aware. So he always had this question that why do you have to punish people? Can't we reform people by good instruction? लोग को इतना सब तेल में डुबो फिर कांटों से उनको चुबाओ. Why do all kinds of harsh punishment? If you read fifth canto, there are I think 23 types of hell where so much pain the living entity goes through. And Yamaraj, being a devotee, is soft-hearted. So he had this question. And so therefore, Krishna to clarify his doubt कि भगवान के मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर प्रश्न आता है. कभी कभी sometimes even in temples, we have doubts on some decisions that the management takes. Why are they doing like this? Anytime you had such questions, why are they doing like this? because you don't know the full context. So Vidura also thought, Yamaraj also thought, why is Krishna made this hell? Okay. Just preach nicely, make them understand. So instead of Krishna coming and clarifying, he said, let him get experiential learning. ओके मैं तुमको एक आइटम देता हूँ उसका नाम है दुर्योधन उसको सुधार उसको सुधार के दिखाओ So Vidura was with Duryodhana, and as scriptures say, two greatest fools that ever existed on this planet is Ravana and Duryodhana. कितने लोग ने समझाया लेकिन समझ आई नहीं and Vidura after he tried to give good intelligence good sense to Duryodhana he understood that he's getting more and more angry and envious so then he left and he thought better I use this time because I don't have much time once I go back as Yamaraj I can't do Krishna Katha so let me not beat my head against a dead rock. Let me instead use the time. So devotees have to be intelligent that to use our time appropriately and not foolishly compromise our own sadhana in the name of preaching or helping someone else. Janma sardhak kari kara paropakar. Sometimes in bhakti, in the moment, we are so much in kara paropakar that we don't focus on janma sarthak. That the first one whom I have to deliver is myself. And then share something to others. Of course, it can also go to the extreme that बस मैं अपना देखूंगा I'll only do my own welfare janma sarthak don't because when I try to do some upakar it turns out to be apakar somebody gets offended somebody is not happy because to run a center to to book distribution or whatever they're all difficult somebody or other will not be happy with us or people will humiliate us so Vidura very wisely at the right time therefore it said that what is the chapter's name in first chapter this Vidura retires. Of course, Pandavas retired time is there, but Vidura also he understood that I can, that abhi ye nahi sunega. Let me try some other time. So therefore, he didn't totally give up. Later, he came back to Dhritarashtra once Duryodhana, the poisoning element was gone, Shakuni was gone. Then he understood that my brother may now be open to hear. So he uh, goes on a pilgrimage and near Dwarka, he meets the great sage Maitreya. And to Maitreya, he starts to hear. And Maitreya hears from Uddhava. Krishna, the last person whom he met was Uddhava. And Krishna gave to Uddhava detailed instructions on the purpose of human life and how different ashramas should function, how deity worship should be done. And this is in the 11th canto called as Uddhav Geet. Beautiful, no, very elaborate instructions on the Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, so many. And there, and once Uddhava was also given order by Krishna after hearing all this that I could not go to the Badrinath to give association to the sages there. So, on my behalf, you please go and give them the wisdom that I have given you, the Sandesh. Sudhava was a messenger to two places, to Vrindavan and to Badrinath. To Vrindavan to convince the gopis that no, Krishna will come soon, and then to Badrinath that Krishna, no, I've given you this process of deity worship, of chanting, of respecting devotees, to give them the message that Krishna has given them. And when Vidura comes there, it said that as Uddhava was speaking to Maitreya, to as Krishna was speaking to Uddhava, Maitreya was also there. He also happened to be there. He came. And so when Maitreya Muni, Vidura approached Uddhava, that can you please uh, enlighten me about Krishna? What did Krishna speak? He speaks a little and he says that Krishna remembered you in the last moments before he departed. Krishna remembered you. And Vidura becomes totally, choked with emotions because somebody remembering you, especially at the last moments of their life, it's very intimate. We know in Srila Prabhupada's life, Srila Prabhupada, in the last days of his life, he took out his ring, the ring that he was wearing, and then he said, give this to George, George Harrison, because he had one of the prominent reasons why Krishna consciousness spread like wildfire was because of George Harrison's contribution in singing and in proclaiming about Hare Krishna. So therefore Prabhupada was very grateful and he remembered George Harrison. So same way Vidura, he may not have done any kind of Herculean tasks, but he did one of the most difficult times. He was there with his devotees, the Pandavas. When Pandavas, Krishna's dear devotees, when in the Brihad Bhagavatamrit, when Narada Muni was glorifying Prahlad, that how glorious he is, Prahlad Maharaj says that I'm Prahlad Maharaj says that how much time did Lord come? Lord came, Narsimha manifested from the pillar, killed Hiranyakashipu, accepted my prayers, and then vanished. Hardly 1 hour the Lord stayed in my presence. But look at the Pandavas. The in the house of the Pandavas, Krishna stays for years together, months together, whenever he goes. Because you can know what is the affection rate. One of the how much the person is willing to spend time. So Prahlad says, I am not that dear to Krishna as much as the Pandavas. And this is also a important, that we want to develop our relationship with Krishna, we have to spend quality time with Krishna, quality time with the holy names. It's not that, okay, come, ek jhalak, and then we are gone. If some beautiful, lady or someone is there, then people will take such darshan, एक एक अंग का. But भगवान का, like you don't even remember what dress the Lord wore, what ornaments that the Lord wore. So long back we used to have a daily quiz in our ashram. Okay, याद है क्या भगवान ने क्या पहना था आज, गार्लैंड क्या कलर का था? Because we have to, appreciate all this. And this verse is about appreciation. Is it coming? I'm coming. Hmm. This verse, Srila Prabhupada, he focuses on this word adrita. Didn't come? नहीं, वो ऊपर है. ओके है ना? क्या है? Yes. Is there? So Srila Prabhupada focuses on this word adrita. Vasudeva katadrita. So Prabhupada mentions that what does adrita mean? Prabhupada says adrita, this word is very significant for our spiritual life. He says Vidura had a natural inclination for the transcendental message of the Supreme Personality Godhead, and he was never fully satisfied. Though continuing to hear those topics, he wanted to hear more and more so that he could be more and more blessed by the transcendental message. So, in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, our eagerness to hear for Krishna Gatha should not go down. It should only keep increasing. In the material world, in any relationship, our eagerness to hear from the other person goes down. कितना सुनेगा उसके बारे में? How much can you hear? But about Krishna, the devotee is more and more eager. He is, and therefore once Janani Vasco said this, that I have never attended a boring Bhagavatam class. And he attends Bhagavatam class every day. Not that he chooses, okay, who is the speaker today? Now, nowadays, this thing has come up. On YouTube, you can hear so many Bhagavatam classes. At a time, Vrindavan Maya Bhagavatam is happening, Pune or Chopati or Mayapur or here. I don't know if here things go live. So devotees kind of go to all channels or they where a better speaker is speaking. But that is a bit unchaste hearing. We have to be chaste to the book. And you may hear extra classes, but at least some temple you should follow methodically. Then only the message will be, the dosage. Say today you take one type of tablet from one company. Then tomorrow some other. The medicine will not have that effect. Therefore, Prabhupada said, because in those times there was no uh, YouTube. So every day the Bhagavatam class happens and the local devotees attend the Bhagavatam class. And here class happens every day or only on Sundays. but we should ensure that we hear the local Bhagavatam class because that will develop our appreciation not just for the Bhagavatam but for the local devotees who are speaking the Bhagavatam. If devotees don't hear from other devotees, then we will not have appreciation for the devotees much because we only see what the other person they physically sing or do, but the main aspect of every devotee is their heart, and the heart comes out when they speak. So therefore, Vidura, his he was so clear, and just before Krishna was personally remembering him, but he is hearing from Maitreya, who is not as advanced as Vidura. Krishna didn't remember Maitreya Muni when he was passing, when he was leaving. But Krishna remembered Vidura. Krishna ate from Vidura's hands the skin of a banana. And even till now, that's glorified. So how dear is Vidura? But for Vidura, every ounce, just like somebody who is greedy, he will see money everywhere. Wherever I can make money, I'll grab an opportunity. Or somebody who is hungry, no, whatever best type of prasad I can get, he is eager to acquire more and more. So that is Adrita. Another that our acharyas say is that Adrita here means Vidura having respect or attention rather than being respected. In Hindi, respect का शब्द क्या है? सम्मान, आदर, right? तो उनका आदर करो. The same word, Adrita and Adar. So here Vidura is having total respect and attention to Krishna's message because he is having full respect for Krishna's message. We'll only pay attention to what we respect. If you don't respect someone, say somebody who is passing by, then we'll not pay attention. But if you truly value and respect Krishna, then we'll pay attention to Krishna's message. Therefore, why do we do initiative chanting? Because we are not respectful to chanting. We don't have that appreciation and that sambandha gyan is not proper. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami says, before chanting, we should take out a little time to meditate upon what is this chanting. That how merciful is Krishna that he has come in the form of his holy name. And if you don't develop that respect, then we will not pay attention. Even in a house, घर में, if the wife doesn't respect the husband or the vice versa, तुम बोलते रहो, you keep speaking, you don't pay attention because the respect has gone or whatever. So therefore, herein it's being said, rather than being respected, he was not expecting that although he was just remembered by Krishna, he was having respect. And respect for who? Adrita can mean Vidura who was respected by Maitreya. So Maitreya Muni, also knowing Vidura's exalted position, he was very respectful. But Maitreya thought, let Vidura hear me through these topics. May he become successful from my speaking the sweetness of Krishna. So Maitreya who was speaking, he was not thinking, now I am in a superior position and this Vidura is hearing from me. No, Maitreya was respectful to Vidura. That I am only a via medium It is actually between the Shrota and Krishna. And let me become just a wire medium to convey the sweetness of Krishna. And let Vidura hear me, and through these topics may he become successful in relishing the sweetness of Krishna. So therefore, the speaker also is respectful, appreciates the audience. Bhadrambo, even uh, Suta Goswami, when he sees the Shaunaka rishis, he is appreciating them. That it is because of you, Krishna Samprashna, I can remember Krishna more through this discussion. So respect for the book and respect for the devotees who are discussing the book. Both are important. So being attentive to the topic, and this is one of the things that is often discussed in our movement about the culture of respect. How one of the main pillars of Vaishnavism is how we respectfully deal with devotees. And devotees can also be in our family. It's not that family members are not devotees. Even in the family, how do we deal respectfully with others? The culture of respect. Today, only if somebody is super special, then we think he is worthy of our respect. And all other devotees, but Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction. He says, any devotee who is uttering Krishna's name from his giri, from his mouth, Vishu is Adriteya. He is worthy of our respect. At the same time, we don't expect respect. And then a sequence is given. Attention of the heart leads to respectful attitude, and this respectful attitude is more important than the attention of the ear. Hearing attentively, Maitreya had attention of the ear when Krishna was speaking to Uddhava. He was, although a Jnana Bhakta, he was more eager to get knowledge from the Lord than Bhakti. But here, Vidura has both attentions present. So there is the attention of the ear in the sense of आपको जानना है. You want to know. So jnana. So Maitreya had this stage of in his bhakti that he wanted to know about Krishna to increase his knowledge. But Vidura, he also his main purpose was not just knowing about Krishna. Like sometimes these discovery channels or these newspapers are there. 10 things about this particular person or no 5 things hidden about Jagannath Puri. So people become interested. Oh, I want to know. Why? Because we just want to increase our GK, our information. Because the soul is chit. It is always curious. But Vidura, his purpose was that he wanted to develop more appreciation for Krishna and to develop in his heart, and therefore he wanted to increase his knowledge about Krishna. So sometimes we stop at just this. अरे इनका क्लास सुनूंगा तो मुझे बहुत मसाला मिलेगा. I'll get lot of points about this and this. But we should not just stop there. Preaching is more for ourselves than others. Sharing. When we hear in class, it is more for application than just for awareness or just for a gymnastics of the mind. And so this is about Adrita. Do you have a little more time? Or let's stop here, 8:25, 8:30. So I want to give, should I leave space for question answer or should I continue? After 8:30, okay. So this chapter name is Appearance of Lord Varaha. And the discussions that happen here, did it come? Yeah. तो गायब हो जाता है. Yes. Varaha. This chapter is why Varaha Dev appeared. And to understand this, we have to know what is the previous chapter. Previous chapter is Brahma's, the name of the chapter is Creation of Kumaras and Others. How Brahma, after he had the darshan of Krishna, he told him, with these five ingredients, you create the whole material world. So, how he creates this world and the wonderful way in which he goes through different difficulties in his service is discussed in the previous chapter. So therefore, this previous chapter is also called as Brahma's five obstacles in his service. When he was serving uh, to make this creation, different things happen. So just like a summary, I will go through these five obstacles. This itself can be a whole seminar. And these obstacles we'll all face even in our bhakti, even in our services. So the first obstacle that Brahma faced was dissatisfaction. He had to create ignorance, which was totally against, no, to put people into ignorance. That's like Yamaraj was dissatisfied. So at times when we are doing some service or when we are chanting, we see that no, my chanting is going nowhere. It, it seems to be more anarthas are increasing. I'm becoming more lusty. I'm getting into more ignorance. So dissatisfaction can creep into our life because we have not fully completed the process. Just like when you broom, more dust appears. झाड़ू नहीं मारेंगे तो लगेगा घर साफ, पर जब झाड़ू मारते हैं तो सब गंदगी बाहर आता है. And then you can, if you stop there, अरे इतना गंदगी था, so continue brooming. So therefore, Brahma in the middle of, because at any time if devotees analyze their bhakti, their status of bhakti, there is very good chance that the state of bhakti that where we are in will feel extreme dissatisfaction. That 20 साल हो गया जब करते हुए, लेकिन जितना रुचि फेसबुक में है और if I hear a class, I'll feel fall sleepy. But if I pick up the mobile, रात को 2 भी बज जाएगा, नींद नहीं आती. So much alertness. So 20 साल से जब करके क्या होगा? So there can always be dissatisfaction. So Brahma faced this. But he continued. And when he created the four Kumaras, they said, we will not procreate. जो डिवोटी आपको जिसका सपोर्ट लिया, जिसको बनाया आपने, he turns out to be disobedient. Or sometimes our mind, no? Many leaders face this issue that सबका अपना अपना ही प्लान रहता है. You tell the devotee, okay, start prasad at this time. But then he hears, yes, Prabhuji. And then he starts when he feels. no, it is appropriate. Disobedience. So four Kumaras, and no, and especially when you have sacrificed so much, and then people are not willing to hear. Even Prabhupada, he faced this. That at a time, some of Prabhupada's disciples, they started to preach or they started to act in ways. There was a devotee who went to Hawaii to preach, and then he started to have his own philosophy and he started to disobey Prabhupada's instruction. So disobedience also, we face in our service that somebody doesn't, help, is helpful, doesn't follow. So Brahma faced this obstacle. Then he created Rudra, Shiva, Lord Shiva. And as soon as Lord Shiva he came, he is Rudra avatar. So he started to do his thunder and there was destruction all over. There was disturbance all over. कुछ लोग हैं जो आपका सुनते ही नहीं है और कुछ लोग हैं जो no they are creating disturbance in the society in in your service. So of course no offense to Shiva, but that is his tattva. He is made for so Lord Brahma, instead of becoming morose, that Rudra is not interested in procreation. He is doing his standard and his dance of destruction. So then he asked him, this is not the time of destruction. I will tell you. Now is the time for construction. अभी construction करना है, destruction नहीं. So when it is time, sometimes I say Lord Shiva's duty is one of the most difficult duties because it's the duty of wind up. जब कोई program होता है, setting up is difficult. Setting up is not that because कोई ना कोई रहता है support करें because program time पे start होगा. But once the program is over, everybody eats nicely and they are talking and then they leave. And if you go to the kitchen, there will be huge vessels. उसको धोएगा कौन? That time you will not find many devotees. Often wind up is the most no uh, difficult service. And Shiva's duties क्या है? To put back all the elements, whatever Brahma has manifested, all this, सब फिर से महत्व भेजने के लिए. And for that he dances and does it. So he faced disturbance. And then and of course, he creates his 10 sons of Brahma. And then he creates a daughter, Vak. And somehow, Brahma, he gets attracted to his own daughter. And he runs after her with sexual feelings. And the 10 sons of Brahma, they start to chastise. कैसा बाप है तू जो अपनी बेटी पे आंख डाल रहा. So he gets distracted by lust. And one of the amazing things in our scriptures is that even someone like Brahma, his weak side is also shared. Their weaker aspects of their life, the incidents, are also shared in the Bhagavatam. Sometimes even many of these leaders that are there, they'll not allow in the public their weaker sides to come out, right? कि कैसे इसने गफला किया और we got trapped. But in the Bhagavatam, we see Indra's weakness or apparently Brahma's weakness is being shown. Or sometimes some devata is cursing someone else. And recently in Bombay, somebody was asking, how can devatas curse? How can Durvasa Muni curse? This is showing that we have a choice. at all times in this material world? Do we take shelter of the higher, no, energy, or do we get succumbed by the lower energy? So Brahma, even though he is fully made up of intelligence, he got succumbed by lust and he was running after his own daughter, distraction. And then of course, there were devotees like the 10 sons who rebuke. And Brahma himself, he feels so morose, so guilty कि how can I do this? किसके लिए आया था और क्या कर रहा हूँ? I have this experience when I go to Mayapur, Vrindavan, that instead of focusing on the holy name, sometimes it appears to be there is a fashion parade here. And you tend to look at क्या क्या कौन क्या क्या पहना है, कैसी especially opposite sex. Then you have to remind yourself, भाई यहाँ पे बर्ड वॉचिंग करने नहीं आया आप, यहाँ पे आए हैं to meditate on Krishna. So it can happen that if you're not conscious, you can get distracted. So Brahma, it happened to Brahma. So what to speak of us? It can happen to us. And then finally, as he was asking his children, his 10 sons of Brahma, to create progeny, they were not ready to create enough population. They were saying, हमसे इतना पूरा विश्व के लिए प्रजा बनने हमारा काम नहीं है. So he was facing deficiency in his service. So we'll all face these five obstacles: dissatisfaction, disobedience, either from outside or from inside, disturbance, distraction, and deficiencies. No need to mention that. But how did Brahma overcome that? Brahma, in his moments of dissatisfaction, he didn't get depressed. Although Kumaras were disobedient, he didn't disrespect Kumaras. He understood their need. Although I created them, although I preached and made this devotee, it's not that sometimes it is said, children are not your branches. Children are your saplings. मैंने इसको जन्म दिया तो ये मेरा सुनना चाहिए ऐसा जरूरत नहीं है. So he was not disrespectful. Although there was disturbance, he was not discouraged. Although he was distracted, he didn't give up his service, he didn't become irresponsible. And because there was deficiency, ये लोग नहीं कर रहे थे, then thought ये लड़के ना बात नहीं सुनेंगे, let me create Chatarupa and Manu. And that's how this chapter begins with creation of Chatarupa and Manu. So, because once Brahma created the universe, what is the purpose of this universe? To offer everything to Krishna as the yajna. Therefore, this chapter is Varahadev, who comes as the yajna murti. That all the ingredients, yes, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, all the ingredients that are needed to do yajna are coming from Varahadev, the grass and so therefore the Yajna Purusha is Varaha Rupa, and Krishna, after Brahma creates this universe, he manifests as Varaha from his nose, not just to kill Hiranyaksha, but to establish the process of Yajna. And for this day and age, the Yajna that is recommended is Nama Sankirtan Yajna. And let us all spend our time in offering our energy to Krishna by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And if there are any questions on what we discussed, we can. Yes. Okay. Deficiency, when we face deficiency, one should make, say you're not able to do some service. One should make one's authority understand that it is beyond the capacity of me to do this service, and better be honest to find some more efficient person rather than मुझे ही करना है सब कुछ. Not all of us are blessed to do everything. So if there is a better singer, ask them to sing. If there is a better cook, ask them to do it. If no one is there, then without deficiencies we continue. But we always try to find, rather than, so Brahma thought, yes, thus then I created these 10 rishis, but they are not that interested. Four Kumaras were not interested at all. These 10 rishis, they were not interested to populate that. We cannot do that. So then he went for one more option. Okay, let me create more. Shatarupa and Manu, both Swayambhu Manu, both were created from Brahma, but he created them as a couple. And from them, daughters are born. Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti. Because Brahma thought, लड़के का ओबे नहीं करेंगे, लड़कियां ओबे करेंगे. आई एम श्योर ऑल ऑफ यू विल एग्री टू दैट. बच्चे बच्चों में कौन ज्यादा मानता है माता पिता को? बच्चियां ज्यादा मानती हैं. ओके, एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? Solution was, there were devotees, the 10 rishis who were there, who was Brahma's children only, who alerted Brahma, Prabhu, क्या कर रहे हैं आप? So when he was alerted, immediately, became conscious. So that was one of the main drawbacks with Jada Bharat. Bharat Maharaj, when he was, getting distracted, there was no one to correct him. Therefore, devotional service should always be done in the sangha. हमको लगा मैं मेरा भजन अलग करूंगा, so we can get always distracted. So that, and when he got distracted, there were these 10 rishis who alerted him. So Brahma was not proud. मेरे बच्चे हो, मुझे मेरे में गलती देखते हो. Sometimes it happens. मैंने तुमको डिवोटी बनाया और तुम मेरे को फीडबैक दे रहा है. Any devotee is doing it for our wellness, we should accept that. And then he gave up his body. He felt so polluted कि ये शरीर के कारण, so he gave up his body, took another body, and then created. So he gave up that mentality of lust with which he was feeling lustful. He gave up that mentality because it can happen. Sometimes we are so enamored by the service that we do, we start to enjoy that. ये मेरा program है, ये मेरे लोग हैं. So we may not be sexually, even that can happen, but authoritatively or in ways, no, they should all worship me, they should, do this, can happen. So we are only serving Krishna and nothing belongs to us. We are not owners or enjoyers or controllers. So that is a great lesson. Right in the beginning of creation, the 12th chapter, gives these five obstacles that a devotee, even up to the level of Brahma, can face. It's not that I have any above, but this these things we should be mindful that if it happens, remember ब्रह्मा जी के साथ भी हुआ तो हम कौन है? ओके, यस प्रभु. He served and saved Pandavas. He took care of the Pandavas and he protected the Pandavas, and anyone who serves his devotees. Krishna, he becomes more dear to Krishna than the Pandavas. Krishna did not remember the Pandavas, but he remembered Vidura. Gopas. Of course, they are also dear. So therefore, our movement is become dear to a devotee. If you become dear to a devotee, yasya prasadat bhagavad prasad, then Krishna becomes very inclined to the devotee who does not become. This is there. No? If somebody says that I am a devotee, I am Krishna's devotee. He is not my devotee. But somebody says I am the devotee of this devotee, then he is my true devotee. So that is that he was servant of the servant, dasanu das. So this mood is very pleasing to Krishna, which most uh, wonderfully shown by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his pastime. Duki, he was serving Shivas by bringing water, and Mahaprabhu gave mercy to Duki because she was sincerely serving a devotee, not expecting I should give personal attention. There is this story that in New Vrindavan, Radhanath Maharaj was given a garland to offer to Prabhupada, but he was feeling very unqualified. How can I offer? But everyone was pushing, go and offer. So he took it near Prabhupada, and near Prabhupada there was another devotee. He gave him the garland. You please offer. And then he offered. And when he offered, Maharaj writes that Prabhupada had a very loving glance on Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj. That you may want, अरे मुझे chance मिला garland करने के लिए. No, offer to another devotee. So like this, of course. So when we assist others in their service to Krishna, Krishna becomes very happy with us. That was Vidura's qualification. Okay. Yes. Ujjwala Vigraha. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Uh, this is called as the dark night of the soul. In the pilgrim's journey, in our journey to Krishna, the dissatisfaction is one of the biggest tools that Maya Devi uses to stop us, to discourage us. कि कहाँ खुशी मिल रहा है तुमको छोड़ दो इसको. So therefore, bhakti has to be protected by buddhi. Devaki was protected by Vasudev, and Vasudev represents intelligence or guru. So whenever we face doubts in our path, there are two extremes. One is we become restless
Another is we become hopeless. Restlessness कभी मिलेगा, भगवान का प्रेम कभी मिलेगा. Another, or when we become like we try to chant intensely, try to serve intensely, read intensely. कितना भी intensely किया, गाड़ी आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा. क्यों? क्योंकि हम वो जो गाड़ी है ना कीचड़ में अटका है. When the car is stuck in a, कीचड़ को क्या बोलते हैं? Mud? Maybe a better word maybe there. Swamp, a swamp or a swampy place. You have experienced this? वो कितना भी तेल जल रहा है, पहिया भाग रहा है, लेकिन गाड़ी कहीं नहीं जा रही. Why? Because we are stuck in the material consciousness and we understand that this has been a lifetimes of getting stuck in the mud. So when we get stuck in the mud, along with running the engine, we need somebody to push, right? कोई आके पीछे से धक्का देने वाला चाहिए और कोई आगे से खींचने वाला चाहिए, कोई क्रेन या कोई ऐसा पावर दूसरा गाड़ी है जो प्रॉपर सिचुएशन में. So that is devote guru. Guru is that powerful force who will pull us, and devotees are that helpful people, passengers. तो चलो इसको अभी थोड़ा धक्का मारते हैं. एंड गुड थिंग इन भक्ति इज दैट सब लोग एक ही साथ कीचड़ में नहीं फंसते. कोई ना कोई थोड़ा बेटर रहता है. सम डेज यू आर feeling great inspiration in bhakti, and only at some time we feel no morose. So therefore when we are in sangha, जो कीचड़ में फंसा है जो दूसरों का सहायता लेता है, and in this way no we all head together wonderfully. So therefore sangha nistaricha paiche keva, that without the association of devotees we cannot practice bhakti. Therefore it is 100% guarantee. भक्तों से दूर रहेंगे तो माया के पास जाएंगे. Then Maya will somehow or other tempt us. So therefore, let's not get discouraged. I'm not able to understand or serve. Let's try to do our best. Krishna says in the Gita, Ragadveshu vimukteshu vishayan indriyeshwaran atmavashir vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Who gets my mercy? किसको मेरा कृपा मिलता है? One who raga dvesha. He does not get distracted by temptations or by somebody hating, some kind of anger, grudge. But atmavash. Atmavash means in his capacity. There are many meanings, but one of the acharyas gives. In the book also I mentioned this. Atmavash means तुम्हारे कैपेसिटी के अनुसार आत्मवशेर विधेय आत्मा. Try to follow the vidhis, the regulative principles. So if we are doing our best in whatever is in our capacity and trying to do our best, Krishna says he will receive my mercy. We don't have to be perfect. We have to be sincere. If we are sincerely trying to chant, even if our chanting is not very good, Krishna will accept that chanting. But pronunciation is nice, but the mood is not nice. Krishna does not accept that chanting. So therefore, no, this verse is a saving grace. भगवान बोलते हैं तुम्हारे कैपेसिटी के अनुसार ही तो follow करो. And also he says, don't try to unnecessarily, artificially jump just because comparison हो जाता है. अरे इतना कर रहा है तो मुझे भी करना चाहिए. Yes, inspiration is good, imitation is bad. We can get inspired by others' progress, but let's not try to imitate. because imitation Krishna says he is deadly, especially in bhakti. तो सबका अलग अलग जर्नी है. Okay, Prabhu? Yeah. If time permits, I'm here. Our Par Prabhu has a question. Open Instagram, YouTube. रस नहीं आ रहा है. थोड़ा रस के लिए थोड़ा जड़ रस. Yes. Uh, the way is your question complete or is the way? So we have to be aware, like, because if I keep going to material sources of pleasure, we have to, first of all, we have to be, honest that how much of Krishna consciousness can I do and what is my need. If we are too materially conditioned, then there is a term which is used, uh, is a healthy way to associate with Maya so that you don't get succumbed. But that healthy way should be very disciplined. Usually, for our Bhagavatam class, for our these things, we follow timelines very strictly. When it comes to Maya, YouTube का कुछ टाइम लगाते हैं हम कितना देर देखना चाहिए. No, there is no discipline. So for Maya, you put discipline that, and then for Krishna consciousness, you try to expand. And it's definitely difficult, but we also should know we cannot, like prasad. Prasad is one of our stress busters. So take nice prasad. Try to watch things that will be helpful for increasing your preaching capacity. Sometimes some of our devotees watch this TEDx talk that are on relevant topics. So those things that fall in the healthy circle. They are Maya, but still you can engage in a disciplined way. If you're reading Prabhupada's books for 1 hour, then okay, for some time you can see this so that you can increase your awareness for preaching or for your own need that you have. But when we do that without any purpose, just so that you get, you're bored and therefore you do that, then it is very deadly. Okay. And therefore, this material world, we have to take care of the body because it's a need. Same way we have to take care of the mind. उसको जो चाहिए देना पड़ता है, but at the same time, give it prasad. So it does not, it's just not material. Same way with information or entertainment. Have this that I cannot now fully do this. I'm not able. Then slowly, slowly, slowly. Therefore, shanay, shanay. Slowly the mind has to be brought back to bhakti. Hare Krishna. Granth. Yes, Matish. He's in our heart. He understands more than anyone else has understood us. Just that if we are open to hear his advice, he speaks through devotees, he speaks in our prayers. But Krishna understands everyone. And that's the greatest thing कि मुझे समझते हुए भी भगवान मेरे हृदय में बैठे हैं. इतना हिपोक्रेसी के बावजूद, इतना गड़बड़ के बावजूद, Krishna still has hope in me. So, yes, Krishna understands. Upadrashta Anumanta Evacha. He says, every thought, every desire that we ever had, Jagannath is aware. But he is kind, he is tolerant, he is merciful. तो भगवान सबको समझते हैं, सबकी स्ट्रगल को समझते हैं. So therefore, he sends help when we are really, and we all witness that Krishna really, is active in lives of devotees. He is not, an inert matter. He is active spiritual being. बहुत एक्टिव है भगवान. जब भी कुछ नो प्रॉब्लम है, you sincerely pray and you try, things manifest. And but only when we try. I was telling on Friday that when Krishna was told Vasudev to take him to uh, Vrindavan, it's not that Vasudev was asking कि सब कुछ खोल दो फिर मैं लेके जाऊंगा. He didn't put any condition. He just heard and was deliberating, how do I do this service Krishna has given? And he takes Krishna to his heart. And the moment he takes Krishna to his heart, his handcuffs open. And when he stands up, then his cuffs in his legs open. And when he comes close to the jail gate, first gate, then only the door opened. The second door didn't open. As he was taking step after step, Krishna was removing difficulty after difficulty. हमको क्या चाहिए? पूरा रास्ता साफ चाहिए, तभी मैं चलूंगा. वसुदेव could only see one step at a time. एक ही स्टेप भगवान उसको दिखा रहे थे, उसके आगे पूरा अंधकार. अभी क्या कर सकते हो तुम? वो स्टेप ले सकते हो ना, लो. कैन यू डू टुडे दिस सर्विस? डू इट. कल क्या होगा? यू विल गेट स्ट्रेंथ, यू विल गेट विजडम. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is the highest mysticism. Because कैसे चीजें manifest होता है, no one knows how in 11 years 108 temples manifested, how things manifest in our heart. It's a magic, it's a mysticism. So therefore, Prabhupada says the biggest mysticism is Krishna working. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, yatra ta partho dhanurdara, tatra Shri Vijayar Bhutir Dhruva Netir Matirma. Krishna is the greatest mystic. वो ऐसा लॉजिकली चीजें नहीं करते, बट हमको जो भगवान दिखा रहे, कर पा रहे, आत्मवश्य विधेय आत्मा, अपने हिसाब से जितना कर सकते हो भगवान के लिए उतना करने का प्रयास करो. ओके, तो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर काइंड अटेंशन. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, सवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंद.